This Reddit post blew up, almost 200 upvotes and 47 comments. This post is about 10 principles for outbound coming from the director of GTM at one of the biggest outreach tools in the market. And he shared this after a decade running sales teams. I found this post quite interesting, so I decided to share it with you and break down those principles. Some I completely agree with, some I would push back a little, and there is one that is missing in my opinion. So this post is by a director of sales and head of GTM at Expandy, which is one of the biggest LinkedIn outbound platform. He says he sees thousands of sequences every month across hundreds of teams. What I found interesting in this post is that he wrote down this principle over a decade and saw what survived, different tool changes, market shifts, even before and after COVID. So that's very interesting data. Okay, so now that we have set up the stage, let's start. Principle number 1, the first message. So here's what he says. The first message is the only one that matters. Everything after is a tax you pay for weak premise. If you're spending more time optimizing your fourth touchpoint than your opening line, you've probably already lost the essential, the value of the first impression. That's a strong start. I'll push back on this one. I agree that the first message carries more weight. It sets the tone, but the data on buyer behavior is pretty clear. Most studies say that a buyer would require 7 or 8 touchpoints before considering your offer. So yes, for different weights in those touchpoints, but no to only the first matters. And in my opinion, this is even less true in the AI era. Before, it was indeed quite difficult to follow up with value to your prospects, and we often ended up with templates that weren't really relevant. But now with AI agents and signal monitoring, you can follow up with a relevant message sent at the right time based on something that's happening to your prospect right now. A new hire, a new review on G2, whatever it can be that makes sense for you to reach out. So if you do it right, follow-up message can be quite important as well. Okay, let's move on to principle number 2. It basically says that most ICPs are defined by who sales wants to talk to, not who actually buys. And yeah, this one I agree with. And it's even maybe a quite underrated one. Basically, demographic filters are not an ICP. Even if they are part of it and they are quite important, that's not enough to make a proper target. Today you need an ICP based on demographics, that's still true, but you must add an intent layer to make sure that they are facing or they will face soon the problem that you're solving. Otherwise you get ignored or you get a response that says, hey, talk to me in 6 months, which is not exactly what you want in your GTM strategy, even if it's still valuable. Principle number 3. Basically, he says that timing beats copy every single time. And this one, I have nothing to say. I agree, period. This is the foundation of intent-led outbound. So yeah, fully agree. I would even push it, and I've been saying this for quite a long time on socials. A very average copy can make it if it mentions the hottest problem your prospect is facing today. Of course, keep it readable, but you get my point. And today, in the AI era, you can monitor so many signals that you can way more easily find the right timing than 10 years ago. You just need the right infrastructure to leverage the signals using AI and workflows. Principle number 4. High reply rate can be a warning sign. Reply to meeting rate is the only number worth obsessing over. Yes, I agree. A high reply rate without conversion is basically a targeting problem. So while reply rate is important, the quality of the replies themselves is also very important. If everybody replies to you nicely saying they are not interested, what do you do with that? So yeah, reply to meeting is the cleanest single number you want to look at. Principle number 5. Is basically saying that the LinkedIn profile is doing most of the conversion work before the message is even sent. So obviously here is referencing to LinkedIn outbound, which makes total sense. And for this, I will agree, but I will add to it a little. So yes, in my opinion, your LinkedIn profile is a landing page and you should treat it like one. Your banner, profile picture, headline, feature section, about section. Every element should inform a visitor about what you're about and guide them to what you want to be next. And as I said in the previous principle, modern buying is multi-touch by default. So buyers will read your message, look at your LinkedIn profile, check your website, maybe consume a little of your content. You get the point. And all of this combined will help them making a decision. And if you think about it, you're probably doing this as well when thinking of buying something. You check online first. So yes, to this principle, the message is just one piece of the puzzle. Principle number 6. SDRs don't fail because of efforts, they fail because of lack of direction. Yes, I agree with this one as well, and actually that applies for the entire team, the more efficient they can be. And without a surprise, that also applies to AI agents. Principle number 7. Multi-channel only works if each channel has a reason to exist. Yes, I agree with this one as well. You don't want to create noise, you want to be relevant every time you reach out to your prospect. Not only you want to make sure that your targets are actually active or using this channel, some people are not on LinkedIn, yes, that's possible, or will never answer the phone. But on top of it, each channel has its specificities and you want to master them to get the best out of it. So yeah, first you get to know your targets, then you build a strategy, and then you deploy it to the right channels. Principle number 8. The companies with the most predictable pipeline are sending less, not more. This one I like and I agree with, but with some nuance. I actually interviewed Charles Teno, who's the CEO at Lemlist, and he said something similar. I will add the link of this interview in the description below, so you can have a look at it and discover the other interesting point that Charles is making. Regarding volume, Charles said the same thing, based on all the data they have at Lemlist, and they're seeing the same trends. The top 10% of their customers that's having the best reply rate are sending the least volume. What that means is that they know their targets better and they do more research on them. And we are seeing the same pattern at TC9 when we help our clients to set up their outbound strategies. Basically, the lesson here is quality over quantity. But here is the nuance, it also depends on your total addressable market. If your time is huge, you will need to send volume. And that's where AI and automation is even more relevant to keep personalization and timing at the right standards while sending at high volume. So yeah, basically it's not just about sending less, it's about sending better. Principle number 9. Buyers have gotten 100 times better at detecting templates than sellers have at hiding them. Yeah, this one is funny. I agree with the statement, but for me it's the symptom, not really the cause. For me, templates aren't really a problem. When they are used right and the message is relevant, I don't really care that it's using a template. And that's the point actually. It's about being relevant. Using a template without intent and feeding it with the right information is the reason why it will fail. And here is the framing I'd like to share with you. I'm borrowing it from Clay, who borrowed it from the finance world. The alpha play. In finance, alpha means that you have an insight before the market knows. That's basically a temporary and unfair advantage. And in GTM and outbound, the same logic applies. So the question isn't really how do I personalize my approach? It's more what's my alpha play? How do I stand out and be relevant to this person? What do I know about this person or this account that the rest of the inbox doesn't? Yeah, really cool one. Principle 10. The best outbound operators think like journalists. I agree, and I really like the framing of this. Like a journalist, it's basically about searching a lot of information before writing anything. I really like the comparison. It's really cool. And that's a good way to close this top 10. But these are principles, and they're pretty good, but they are not answering one question. How do we scale this? So that will be my principle number 11. Let machines handle the signals, let humans handle the alpha. Okay, here is the model I have in mind after reading those 10 principles. For me, in GTM and outbound, there are 3 tiers: noise, relevance, and alpha. Noise is basically spray and pray, sending massive campaigns without caring too much about being relevant or not. Unfortunately, today we still receive this type of message in our inboxes, but this approach is dead. That's just noise. The second tier is relevance. What I call relevance is intent-led outbound. It's real research and good timing, and it's used to be the best sales reps doing research and making sure they reach out at the right time. Today, in the AI era, this is an infrastructure matter. You want to monitor the right signals, capture them, automate the next step, and send the relevant message at the right moment. These are the GTM engines we build every day at TC9, and that are, for me, the new standard. The third tier is alpha. It's what gets you above this floor. It's the unique market insights you have and others don't. The angle you have and nobody else has, or the strategic read you have on a situation or an account that only an experienced human can see. AI agents and GTM automation can't generate alpha on their own. Alpha is an interpretation. And this is why we have at TC9 a consultancy offer. So not only we automate the GTM engine, but we also advise and guide on how to find your alpha. So now you have it. The principle number 11 is the division of labor for the next decade when it comes to GTM and outbound. AI and automation handle the signal and infrastructure, and humans handle the alpha. So that's it. Apply those 11 principles and your GTM team will be unstoppable. If you want more videos like this and want to support me, feel free to hit the subscribe button down there. And if you want more information about what we do at TC9, just check our website tc9.ai. I hope you enjoyed this video and I'll see you in the next one.